about it, and I want to hear how it went down. And one of the things that surprised me was, Jay, you are not a licensed and approved auctioneer.
Nope.
No, but all auctioneers have to be members of the American Association of Auctioneers or some big trade organization. You have to go through state licensing.
You got any evidence, any of that code or constitution or that the state so-called runs by applies to me?
I think at least in the federal constitution, there is that auctioneer's clause. No, there isn't. I'm kidding because believe it or not, the founding fathers thought that to go into a lot of detail on things that people do every day, we're going to cover that with the Ninth Amendment in the Bill of Rights, just saying this is not an enumeration of rights. The people retain all kinds of rights that aren't even written down anywhere. They're just what people do. We don't need to bother by trying to enumerate them all and say that the government either has power over this or the government doesn't have power. If we didn't name it, it's retained by the people. Get that? If something isn't in the Constitution, specifically allowing the federal government to do it or banning people from doing it, it's left with the people. Now, I think treason is the only really named crime. And maybe piracy. I don't even think piracy made it. I think treason. So, Angie, if you're fostering any ideas of becoming treasonous here on this show, well, I encourage it. But it is just pretty silly. So you have to be, most states license auctioneers. Is that correct?
Well, I guess. Sure. I know in Vermont, Massachusetts, and in fact, even at the auction, somebody says, oh, I didn't think you had an auctioneer's license, as I was telling them, hey, you ought to come down to the auction. I'm the auctioneer. Oh, I didn't think you had an auctioneer's license. You don't get licenses, because the guy knew I didn't have a driver's license.
Right.
And we had a conversation, but then he was a guy I had met up there at Porkfest or Forkfest a few days earlier. I'm like, I don't care about no licenses. I don't ask the state for permission. It's like the sheep herder asking the sheep for permission.
We don't need those stinking licenses.
That's right.
It's amazing that some people's assumption is that if you're doing, X, Y, or Z, well, you must be approved for that. You braid hair for a living. My God, I assume that you have a license for braiding hair. This is how insane our country has become and how insane our people have become. Well, they don't bat an eye. No, my barber, yeah, well, he's got his paperwork up there on the wall. Why?
When I was in what I've noticed about public schooling is it has literally trained and programmed people to ask for this licensing. Like when I was actually in high school, and I think it was a home ec class or an economics class. I can't remember what the class was, but they actually had us bring a phone book in as part of a project, and the thing was like everybody had to pick like something that they were going to do, and my particular thing was of putting a deck on the house. Like I'm an adult, this is like a home economics class,
right? And
like it's like where you learn how to when you're 13 years old, they teach you how to write a check and things like that, and balance a checking account,
sure, stuff
like that, and credits and debits. And so the thing that I picked was putting a deck on the house, and the very first thing that you're supposed to do is look at the blue pages to see and call a zoning department or a building department.
Oh yeah,
building permits.
Oh heck yeah!
And the blue pages were in the front of phone books, and this was like, I don't know, 94, 95 or something.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So it was like it's just conditioning and programming, And then what was funny is at the 2012 Republican primary in Manchester, New Hampshire, my father, my friend Dave Kopaz, we brought 3 horses up, and we rode horses up and down Main Street. And that was that was the night before a debate. And Manchester, Elm Street is just for like a couple miles either direction. It's all media, all people. It's a Republican debate. New Hampshire is a hotbed for politics.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people asked me, oh, did you get a permit? Oh, do you need a permit to ride the horse? I'm like, actually, the horse has priority on these roads. These roads were for horses long before cars ever came.
Right.
And people just couldn't wrap their head around it. And I actually made GQ magazine, the online edition, not the actual print, and somebody had sent. Actually, I think Ian Freeman had sent it to me in a email years ago, like 2012.
Right.
This article in GQ where this guy, and was basically, he comes up to me and he's like, "So did you have to get a license?" He had like some English British type accent for that horse, and I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with you people? Everybody thinks you need to have asked a sheep for permission." And I says, "Where are the sheep herders here?" And I says, "Maybe it's different where you come from." And he actually quoted me like word for word. He must have had a recording going in the article.
Right.
And he called us the 3 riders of the Ron Paul eclipse.
Nice.
Because we were carrying a Ron Paul Lovolution sign. But every media asked me about a permit from the city or a license. And I said, "Did you ask?" "No. We just did it. We just showed up."
This is nuts.
Did you get in trouble at all?
No.
Awesome.
But I had a couple of guys walking around with buckets and a snow shovel and a broom, sweeping up any horse poop.
So you're cleaning up your mess.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm from Oregon, and in small towns, we have a lot of parades, and parades always involve horses, and everybody knows that is a hazard.
Yes.
But everybody
If you're in a
loved the
marching
horses.
band. Yes,
Everybody
of course
loved
they
them.
would.
Even the cops are coming up. Can I pet them? Sure.
That's awesome.
They were super friendly. One cop was like, "Yeah, there's a lot of people like Ron Paul I see." I go, "Well, especially here in Manchester because of the Free State Project." And that cop didn't even know what the Free State Project was, and he was just happy to pet a horse.
Who's not happy to pet a horse? 855, 450 free. Yeah, just this idea. So no auctioneer's license to speak of, Jay. And you obviously must have some training.
Actually,
I heard from people that were up there that said you did a great job.
He did a great job.
And
It
that
was
was-
phenomenal.
That was my first question, was like, does Jay, 5 to... I can't even do it. I can't even fake that I know how to auctioneer.
well, the thing is I think most people wouldn't really tell whether or not I was doing a good job because most people never really been to an auction, to what I would call a real auction, like a livestock auction.
Right.
Where there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of energy, especially horse auctions, and that's what I grew up going to. But if you go to like an art auction on cruise, I mean, you'll just pass out, you'll fall asleep.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, do we have $5? How about the $5? I have $5. Can I get $10? And and a cattle auction is it's loud and exciting. How about $100? How about I get $100 now? How about $100 now? $100 now for the freedom. And I did this little for the freedom roll because it was Ross Ulbricht.
Right.
So like I started I've just started practicing like after Liberty Forum during the winter, actually practicing my auction chant while I was driving around listening to YouTube videos or like working in a shop listening to YouTube videos of to building an auction chant. So it was a lot of fun, and I've been literally my entire life I've been going to auctions with my dad because he was a horse trader. So it was a great experience for me.
We're going to talk more about auctions and exactly what was up for auction. This was to raise money for Ross Ulbricht, the alleged founder of the Silk Road, and he is doing 2 life sentences for spreading free market. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to MyMagicMud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. MyMagicMud.com, FTL20.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it.
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's the phone number to call to get on the air with your topic. But you can also hit us up on Discord. Discord is a very cool app. You just load it on your smartphone, load it on your tablet, load it on your PC. They've got like every platform you could possibly want. Load it on there, use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone, and you can sound like you are in the studio with us. But first, I wanted to tell you about HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. Do you operate a retail business and you're looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just visit HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com and follow the simple steps. Within moments, you will be accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash at your store. Get started now at helpmetakebitcoin.com. That's helpmetakebitcoin.com. In studio, it's myself, Chris,
Jay,
and Angie,
and we've been talking regulations. I think that's the proper way to disparage that word.
Sounds perfect.
Yep. Regulations and auctioneering, which, as it turns out, in most states you are required to possess if you are engaged in the business of auctioneering, an auctioneer's license.
Yeah, it's not a business, it's just a hobby for me.
Then you would probably be fine. I mean,
everything I do is a hobby.
Absolutely, even what you do for money.
Because even the IRS recognizes that hobbies are tax exempt.
Great.
I did a passport process a few months back where I informed the State Department via a passport application that I was not a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. I don't participate in any IRS stuff, and because I wanted to get a passport, but I wanted to get one as basically a New Hampshire citizen of the nation of New Hampshire, not the state of New Hampshire. And I put that I'm not a resident.
Okay.
This is this guy Christopher Gronsky from DestinationsFreedom.ca or .com, I forget what it is. And he's been on Free Talk Live before. And so one of the things that Gronsky talks about when he does this class, the difference between a United States citizen and a state citizen, and also who's required to pay income tax, which is United States citizens.
Unless your state happens to have an income tax.
Actually, in Massachusetts has an income tax, and every state that he's pretty much looked into that has an income tax, whoever is required to pay income tax, federal income tax, is required to pay state income tax in Massachusetts, is how the income tax law reads. Because the states are all basically franchises of the District of Columbia or the United States after 1864.
Goes one theory.
And, there's good evidence of it, actually.
Yeah.
And we found it in Massachusetts. There was a whole state charter created in 1880-something for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
That's awfully late.
Well, that's when they were all incorporated after the Civil War.
Okay.
That's the state of New York was incorporated in 1888, Massachusetts 1889. But the word state actually means District of Columbia. So, but anyways, getting back to it, the IRS doesn't tax hobbies, but they do tax businesses.
Well, we've been operating a business for a couple of years, and judging by the lack of paycheck, I'd call it a hobby.
There you go.
So that's an interesting, and we don't offer legal or financial advice, but this is worth looking into. There have been a lot of people talking about the 14th Amendment, what it means, what it doesn't mean. And the 14th Amendment really was the amendment that took a stab at trying to define what is a citizen, because we were dealing with something new in our nation's history at that time.
I believe it created
freed slaves.
I believe it created a second class of citizen, and I don't believe the slaves were freed. They were property that was seized by the federal government.
Well, they had a new owner.
Correct. And then what could happen is anyone else could voluntarily sign up to be a United States citizen and could get the benefits of being a United States citizen and the privileges.
This is that social contract we must have signed.
Well, actually, I like to call it an offer that you can't refuse. Because
that's how it feels.
Because, if I offered you something, no matter how lucrative or how crazy it was, you have the absolute right to refuse the offer.
Sure.
But if you don't know it's an offer and you are spent, literally from the day you're born till the day you go get a job or get a driver's license, usually getting a driver's license, or some places have work permits. Like if a kid's under 18, they actually got to go to the town hall and get a permit to work and put your social security number and your date of birth and all that, slave information on there. But basically when you turn 18, you're using this, you're brainwashed to think you're a United States citizen. And what actually makes you a United States citizen is the fact that you say you are. You're not a United States citizen until you sign some document, check off the box, United States citizen, and then sign that document under the threats of pain, threats of penalty and perjury.
How many times do people in the course of, I guess not all people, but at some point, most people do sign something saying, are you a U.S. citizen?
So voter registration, driver's license.
Yeah.
I have checked that box many times.
I have too.
And the other thing that you're actually doing, Gronsky gets into this, is not only are you claiming to be a U.S. citizen, now you're impersonating a U.S. citizen, and under United States Code title blah blah blah. When you impersonate a United States citizen, the crime is, it says a crime, and then it also references the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which says there shall be no slavery or involuntary servitude except for punishment of a crime.
And so let's get back into this auctioneering. So there was at PorkFest, I'm not sure where it was, but I know the story is on freekeen.com today, talking about this auction for Ross Ulbricht.
And there's a nice video, too.
And there is video up there, and it kind of tells the story. And Jay, you were the auctioneer. You were running the show. as a hobby. And during this, numerous items, my store donated a $50 gift card to be auctioned off.
Yep.
So, just raise money for Ross's legal fees. That was the intent. But somebody donated something to be auctioned kind of at the last minute that surprised a few people. What was that?
Oh, it was 2 1/8-ounce containers of cannabis.
Some marijuana got auctioned off on private property, I might add. And this was included in the auction. What a great way to raise some cash.
I'm actually, I got a little reach out today. A friend of mine watched a video, and he goes to all these cannabis festivals in Maine.
Right.
And he was like, "We should do an auction, man. Why don't we just have a straight up cannabis auction at one of these festivals?" I'm like, "I'll do it." Let's go.
Perfect. So this came up, and you put it up there, and you did your auctioneer, you did your chant, you did your what do you call it, a roll?
Well, they call it like an auctioneer's roll, but your chant or your roll, because you're kind of rolling the words into the next word.
Yeah, and the goal of an auctioneer is to get as much money for something as you can, and that's good when things are going to good causes, like freeing Ross Ulbricht, a guy who literally went to jail for running a website. You may have heard about murder for hire. None of that stuff was proven, and none of it was even included in the charges, which means it probably didn't happen. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced 6-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Chris, Jay, and Angie. Normally, it's not me. Normally, it's Mark. Mark would be in this chair, and you guys would be rapping with him. But no, Mark's in South Korea. I had to double-check that. It is South Korea, not North Korea. Correct?
I guess. I don't know.
There
I can
should
only
be
go by
one.
what I read.
I know it's Korea.
It's Korea. There
One
we
of the
go.
Koreas.
I know he posted a picture on Twitter of some Korean frosty drink. I don't know if that was alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Let's hope it was.
Let's hope it was.
Yeah.
It looked tasty. But as someone who has been, I have fallen for things from foreign countries that sure look tasty, and they may have been less than tasty. But that's neither here nor there. We are talking about an auction that took place at either
Porkfest.
Porkfest. It was
Yep.
during Porkfest on private property. And they were having an auction to raise money for Ross Ulbricht, who was the founder of the Silk Road. And he is, he didn't kill anyone. I seriously doubt the charges that he ever offered murder for hire. That seems pretty much made up. What he did was allowed people to place things for sale and had an escrow service so that if, it kind of protected the buyer and the seller. Now, he sold drugs on there. Why did everybody freak out? My God, you can't buy drugs online. How are the police going to find this? Anybody could buy it. It could be shipped right to your house. Well, here's what it did. It had a rating system, too, just like Amazon. If you buy a pair of socks and those socks suck, you're going to rate those socks low, and that company's going to lose business because they've got low ratings, and they can't game it. The idea that you could rate an interaction with your drug dealer allowed the best drug dealers that were selling good, pure products to give people actually what they were paying for, got high ratings, and they got increased sales. Now, this is a good thing. The idea that marketplaces, we in the Liberty community tend to think that, we don't need government. We can have markets that regulate themselves. You look at UL listings that are on most electronic devices. That's a voluntary program. But if you don't have a UL listing on your blender and it's sitting right there next to a bunch of them that do, people are probably going to think twice.
I actually melted an extension cord the other day with an angle grinder when I was doing some metal fabrication.
Yep.
It melted right where it plugged into the grinder. Now, the cord on the angle grinder didn't melt at all. It looked fine. It just actually was, the thing quit working. It's all smoking.
Right.
So this is some extension cord. I don't know. I got a pile of extension cords.
That's me too.
And the kid that was with me was like, I wonder if that one's UL listed. He looked all over that extension cord and couldn't find a UL.
What is
anything
UL
on it.
listing?
Underwriters Laboratory. So they, for a fee, will test your product, whatever it happens to be, whether it's an extension cord or a blender or usually electronic devices. And if they find that it's safe and well built, they'll put their seal of approval on it.
Okay, that makes sense.
It does. And it also makes sense that if you are buying drugs, you can buy them one of two ways. Let's say you bought off the Silk Road and it's got really high ratings. That tells you a lot of people looked at it, tried it, and found it was what it says it was. And then you get a story of some kid who bought $10 worth of heroin from some street dealer and OD'd because it wasn't what he thought it was.
Because it was 1% heroin, 99% rat poison.
Or it was 50% heroin and 50% fentanyl.
Yep.
And it was completely different in strength. And these are things that really, really happen. I'm not, and a lot of people will come out and say, well, that kid shouldn't have been doing heroin. I agree with you. I never taught my kid to do heroin. But people do heroin. And people are addicted to opiates. People like Rush Limbaugh, who was famously addicted to opiates. Fortunately, he had the money to be able to shop all the pill mills, and he didn't have to go to the black market to get what he needed. But a lot of people, we found out after everything came out with, when the opioid problem first bloomed, we found out, actually I should say, people that suddenly found themselves addicted found out that if your prescription runs out and you can't get it anywhere else legally, there is an alternative, and that alternative is heroin. And a lot of them turn to that, and now we have a much bigger problem that in an unregulated market. It's not that it's unregulated.
It's highly regulated.
Yeah, it is highly regulated. It's not.
You die for engaging in heroin trafficking activity. Just like Ron Paul said, more people have died from the war on drugs than the actual drugs.
And that's absolutely true.
It was the same thing when alcohol was illegal. The alcohol prohibition, created war zones, in ghettos and cities all over the United States. And all those deaths over trafficking alcohol stopped when alcohol became legalized again.
Yeah, it pretty much birthed the power of the mafia. The mafia really didn't have much to do until we tried to make alcohol illegal, and that gave them something highly profitable to do, and they could do it everywhere.
Do you know who single-handedly made alcohol illegal and why?
Well, I know a lot of people had hands in it, but go ahead.
The number one anti-alcohol guy was a guy who had a patent on petroleum. His name was Rockefeller. And if you there's a book called Alcohol Can Be a Gas that was, I think, the first edition was in the late 80s. And he talks about the whole history of alcohol and alcohol prohibition. Well, Henry Ford made the Model T Ford to run on alcohol. So farmers could still their own alcohol. And if you actually still alcohol from corn, what you have left over, that corn mash, is a much, much higher quality cattle and livestock feed than actual corn in its raw form, because with alcohol, you extract all the starch out of it. So alcohol can be a gas. I think David Bloom's the guy's name who wrote it. And he talks about how Rockefeller lobbied the temperists with $4 million to make alcohol illegal so he could have literally the market, and U.S. Standard Oil became this massive, corporation that ended up getting busted up into today is Amoco, Exxon, Mobil.
Okay.
And I forget what else.
There was undoubtedly money came in that wanted to do out, but the history of prohibition against alcohol goes back since before the Civil War.
Oh,
there
sure.
were groups that were strongly opposed to this. Housewives who were tired of their husband going out and getting drunk and coming home smelling like lilacs. I wonder what men used for women's perfumes back then. But that, or getting smacked around by their husband too. But prohibition was huge. Now, what you're talking about may have been the money that funded them. And let's think about what we had to do. Like right now, we just write a law and say, Marijuana is illegal at the federal level. There, I said it, so it's done. Back then, and I'm only talking about the 1920s, 1930s, 1910s. I guess I'd have to look at that. We literally had to amend the Constitution to give the federal government the power to say alcohol is illegal. Literally, 3/4 of the states had to ratify this statement. And now, look at all the things that are prohibited just because they say it is. We had to change the Constitution to make alcohol illegal, and we had to change it again to make it not illegal because we realized how stupid an idea that was. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our phone number. That's free as in freedom. Free as in no, there is no such thing as a free lunch. 855-450-3733. This is Chris.
Jay.
And Angie.
And we are here to talk with you. But first I want to tell you about local.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, I repeat, finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy.
That I can even use.
Exactly. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. And we are going to go to the phones where we've got Bill in Indianapolis. Bill, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Am I live on the air?
You are live on the air.
Awesome. You know, actually, I was just calling in because I'm a first-time caller. It seems like you guys have a platform going on because I'm just seeing the studio and I was just like, oh, dang, I kind of like it. No. Just kind of get on this serious note. You guys were talking about some political views about like North Korea earlier, if I heard that correctly. Is that right?
We've got a co-host who's in South Korea. I was jokingly asking if he was going to North Korea. But if you want to talk about North Korea, you can talk about anything on Free Talk Live.
Well, actually, it's going to be similar to what you were talking about because I thought you guys were talking about like a political crisis at first. Like I must have misheard. I have a bad tendency to do that.
Quite all right.
But all right. Anyway, so I just want to talk about the Antifa group and other organizations that set up riots and whatnot.
Okay.
So what goes through their mind day-to-day basis? And, like, what are they fighting for exactly? Because I tried looking them up, and for some reason, it's like I don't know what they're truly all about. Like, what do they stand for is what I'm trying to ask.
I talked to a couple Antifa guys at the Trump rally, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
To at a very high level, from what all I can glean from them is they are against Trump. They see Trump as an example of fascism in the world, and Antifa is sort of anti-fascism. So what'd you find out, Jay?
So they were like in this little caged-in area at the Trump rally in Manchester last Thursday, and I went down there to talk about pardoning Free Ross. So we want to get Trump attention. About 25 of us went down there for that. Anyways, the couple of guys that were like Antifa guys, they were talking about how socialism is actually what they were talking about and how billionaires are the enemy. And I'm like, no, guys, the Federal Reserve is the enemy. You got to understand that these billionaires wouldn't exist without the policies of the Federal Reserve. So then a conversation, and what I noticed is there was another guy wearing a big fat guy had a green Democrat shirt on. And there was like a handful of these, it was like Democrat Party in these green shirts, and they were walking around the free speech zone. And this one guy kept on like interrupting the conversation, trying to either get me out of there or keep it, rolling. So their thing was billionaires were bad, capitalism is bad, and we need socialism. And socialism is where the government controls the means of production. Is what the guy told me. That's what we need. I go, oh, so you want Trump, who you hate, to control the means of production. You want Congress to control the means of production. Does Congress listen to you? Congress listens to big corporations and lobbyists. That's what's going on. I go. I'm a non-anarchist. I want to see that government can have no power or control over anything whatsoever.
Hey, Bill, where do you stand? I mean, we get a lot of callers in here. There.
Okay, so to be on the honest side for me, I'm actually in a neutral zone where it comes between like what's good and what's bad for this country. And like I can understand because like federal can be the enemy and billionaires aren't, because it's like let's put, for instance, Jeff Bezos. We all know who Jeff Bezos is, the CEO of Amazon, correct?
Right.
Do we view him? Do we view him as the people, as the enemy?
I view him as the guy who made it possible for me to get all my stuff I order on Wednesday every week.
Exactly.
And that's
you rely on him.
He helps me. I save money in my small business by buying my stuff through Amazon versus buying unfortunately at local businesses. And I run a local business, so I look for advantages. So yeah, Bezos has helped me out.
Because it's exactly. And you see, I agree. Who's your co-host? I'm sorry, Jay. It was.
Yep.
Okay, Jay. Okay. Well, you make a valid point. You really do. I like where you're coming from. How like the billionaires are not the enemy, the federal is. So for me to understand this, it's like, why do we target the billionaires like they are the enemy? Like, why do we do that?
Well, the ideas of socialism really are about breaking people up into different classes and
controlled opposition.
Pitting one class against each other. You might have $1 billion, dude. I hope you do, and that doesn't make you and I enemy.
Exactly.
You may be broke, and that doesn't make us enemies. My hope is that you can lead your life the way you want to lead your life, as long as you're not messing with anybody else's rights. When you start to infringe on people's rights, that's a problem for me. I don't think that should happen.
Exactly, because it's like we all want to win the lottery one day, and we all want that millions upon millions of dollars. We all do, and I can guarantee it. And it's just what should we be asking for ourselves? It's like, what do we do with that millions of dollars? Like, we just became rich all of a sudden. It's like you start want to either become nice or start becoming greedy. But yet, it's just how we balance out things. And for Congress to do so, working with corporations, from my understanding, it's like they are the ones making more and more money than the average American people. Is that correct?
Well, it's okay. They make the money. Big corporations do make lots and lots of money. Some of them produce something of value, and if they can't make it in the free market, there's always a politician to buy to make some law that makes it a requirement or eliminates their competition. That's crony capitalism, and that is not a free market. May
I ask what crony capitalism is? May I ask what that is?
I see it as when people get wealthy enough and use their power to pay politicians to pass laws that are in their favor.
And another element of this is you got to understand, here's what the Federal Reserve really is unfair to all of us regular folks, is the Federal Reserve creates money essentially out of thin air and gives it away at different interest rates. And the first people in line for this money are the major corporations, whether it be General Motors, Archer, Midland, Daniels. Google a company called BlackRock. They are the largest property management firm in the world, and they are buying up all of the major urban areas all over the world and increasing the rent. But in Europe, they're getting money at a negative interest rate to do this with.
Sure.
Here in the U.S., they're getting it for 25 basis points. That's all they're getting it for, 0.25% interest. They're getting billions of dollars to go just buy up city blocks and jack up the rent.
Hey, Bill, thanks for the call. Yeah, and the whole negative interest rates, they are not going to actually do that. They will they will pay people to take a loan with them.
They won't pay people. They will pay major, massive corporations to do that. And then guys like us, and I don't have any credit cards, but people have credit cards. I mean, there's like some places credit cards are 23%.
Sure.
Some places limited to 18, but still, that's crazy.
And it's not going to be for consumers, but for governments and for large corporations. Yes, interest rates are going negative, and what that means is
that means the money you hold in your bank account is going to be taken from every month,
right,
when negative interest rates start happening. And this is where Bitcoin is going to save us,
and that's why we talk about cryptocurrencies, because it still makes sense. The financial system doesn't really make any sense. But let's get back to this auction for just a second.
Yes. The auction was freeross.com or .org, actually. freeross.org. Hashtag freeross. Check it out. The purpose of the auction was to raise money to get Trump's attention to pardon him, or somebody's attention that can get Trump's attention.
I'm calling on everybody to check out that website and consider making a donation. It's a good cause. This guy is in for 2 life terms. Ridiculous. This is Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Do you ever feel like you're in jail? Not in a real jail, but a virtual jail, because of your job, your stressful business, or maybe your current relationship, where you're not allowed to do what you really want to do? There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,507. Silver at $17.15, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,767. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, as a growing number of states move to pass laws that would criminalize pipeline protests and hit demonstrators with years in prison, an audio recording obtained by The Intercept showed a representative of a powerful oil and gas lobbying group bragging about the industry's success in crafting anti-protest legislation behind closed doors. Speaking during a conference in Washington, D.C. in June, Derek Morgan, Senior Vice President for Federal and Regulatory Affairs at the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, touted model legislation that states across the nation have passed in recent months. AFPM represents a number of major fossil fuel giants, including Chevron, Koch Industries, and ExxonMobil. The audio recording comes just months after Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into law legislation that would punish anti-pipeline demonstrators with up to 10 years in prison, a move that environmentalists condemned as a flagrant attack on free expression. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced Monday that it launched an investigation into the fast-growing phenomenon of people getting severe lung disease in connection with vaping. According to the CDC, nearly 100 people have contracted serious and often life-threatening lung illnesses that may be linked to their use of illicit e-cigarettes, which heat oils into inhalable aerosols, allowing users to consume nicotine, THC, or CBD in a highly discreet and smoke-free manner. The Mind Unleashed reports the news comes as counterfeit vaping cartridges proliferate across the U.S., with generic packaging and false labels that obscure the fact that they contain a number of mysterious adulterants, including cough syrup, various hydrocarbons, toxic heavy metals such as lead, and dangerous synthetic cannabinoids, a category that includes the lethal drug K2 or spice. Free speech in the patent world saw a big win on Friday, when the New Hampshire Supreme Court held that calling someone a patent troll does not constitute defamation. Activist Post reports the court's opinion is good news for critics of abusive patent litigation and anyone who values robust public debate around patent policy. The opinion represents a loss for Automated Transactions LLC, a patent assertion entity that sued more than a dozen people and trade groups claiming it was defamed. EFF worked together with the ACLU of New Hampshire to file an amicus brief in the case, explaining that the lower court judge got the case right when he ruled against ATL. The decision gave wide latitude for public debate about important policy issues, even when the debate veers into harsh language. Last week's ruling court notes that patent troll is a phrase used to describe a class of patent owners who do not provide end products or services themselves, but who do demand royalties as a price for authorizing the work of others. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The nation's quadriplegics immobilized on Washington in support of stem cell research, and a Penn State t-shirt is awkwardly looked away from. And now for the weekly feature your fragile, susceptible mind already has your lips salivating for. This is the Onion Week in Review. Sources reported today that 10-year-old Brandon Thomas, who is currently homesick at his friend Kevin's sleepover, needs to just tough it the fuck out.
I don't feel like playing Xbox right now.
The pathetic little bitch who claims he just doesn't feel like eating any birthday cake or joining in any activities with his friends, frankly needs to grow a pair because his parents only live 10 minutes away, for Christ's sake. Here's what the whiny pansy had to say for himself.
I wasn't crying. It's just allergies. I want to go home.
What a f***ing wuss. In other news, a voicemail from mom is deleted 3 words in, and a man with nice eyes is blown. All right, now off with you. I can't have you seeing me like this. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. Thank you for joining us in hour number 2 of our show. We do 3 hours of live radio every evening, 365 days a year. Now, there's a couple exceptions. Sometimes we're away at conferences and stuff like that, but 99% of the time, if you tune in, you're going to get live talk radio with a focus on liberty. That's a focus you don't see often. You see Democrats talking about how bad Republicans are, and you have Republicans talking about how bad Democrats are.
And I usually agree with the Republicans on how bad Democrats are, and I usually agree with the Democrats on how bad Republicans are.
Exactly. We're pretty much a libertarian talk show. You're going to get some ideas that you may not have heard before. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
It's Jay.
And Angie.
And we're going to kick things off in hour number 2 with, actually, I think some good news out of, these are words I never thought I'd say. We're going to kick the hour number 2 off with some good news out of California. I just never imagined I would ever say that. No, occasionally there have been good things that happen in California, not enough to counter all the bad things that have happened to the people of California. But this comes to us from the Daily Beast. California now has one of the strictest use of force laws in the U.S. Now, what's a use of force law? Those are laws that put limitations on police or put regulations around them using force against regular people. California has had some
You mean that doesn't exist already?
Never.
What's that?
Force from police.
I said that doesn't exist already. It's, laws that police, can't be using excessive force on people and stuff like that.
They do. They list them. There are all sorts of laws, but there's also all sorts of exceptions.
Oh, I fear for my life.
Exactly.
So I shot the pug.
California Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday signed into law what will arguably become the nation's strictest standard for police use of lethal force. The new law, known as Stephon Clark's Law, after the unarmed black man who was killed by police in the state capital, Sacramento, last year, will usher in significant changes for police procedures when it takes effect on January 1st, 2020. In the new year, California police will no longer be allowed to shoot a fleeing suspect unless they pose an immediate danger. Now, let's think about that.
Will it be enforced?
There were not regulations that stopped California police from shooting fleeing suspects before this law goes into effect. Now, police always have to justify the shooting. They have to say, like you said, Jay, I feared for my life. Another standard was he was escaping. He was getting away. He may continue to do harm. This is specific to cases where the suspect is fleeing. California police will no longer be allowed to shoot at fleeing suspects unless they pose an immediate danger, a long overdue update that dates all the way back to 1872. New language in the law also stipulates that law enforcement can only use deadly force when, quote, necessary, unquote, as opposed to the current wording of when it is reasonable, unquote.
I wonder how the law defines necessary as it applies to this particular statute.
And how are they going to determine if they pose an immediate danger? What, someone running and they have their back to you? Maybe you're scared of them because it's dark.
I think it's going to be very difficult for them not to be. And if there are standards and laws in place, this is going to open up police to lawsuits. Now, we got to look at California. This is where a whole lot of people, going back to Rodney King, when people have been disgusted by the police saying, well, I feared for my life, therefore I had to shoot that man running away from me in the back. Under this, it seems like that would no longer be easy. It was reasonable for me to shoot him because he was running. No, now it has to be necessary.
Pesky cameras on everyone's phones, getting these cops busted.
Absolutely. Another crucial alteration will show its effects in the courtroom. Under the new law, prosecutors will now be able to take into account the actions of the officers and victim leading up to the fatal incident, replacing current rules that only allow prosecutors to consider the seconds surrounding the use of lethal force. So I find that kind of interesting, too, that under California law, when dealing with this incident in an incidence of shooting, they can only discuss like a few seconds before. And that doesn't tell the whole story.
So is this police union money being diverted to the pension programs for the cops now, so the cops stop quitting their jobs? Because I could imagine the police union would be hardcore anti this law, or they helped write it, one or the other.
I suspect they are anti. This is going to cause more lawsuits against law enforcement and more lawsuits against cities and states. The cities in the state of California.
And there's a tremendous amount already. The thing is you don't hear about them because everybody has to sign a non-disclosure statement to get that money.
Right. If they want money, they're told the only way to get it is to settle, and that's why these things get buried often. Broadening the timeline could allow prosecutors to view such cases with greater context. Supporters believe the expansion will also encourage departments to further emphasize de-escalation practices. Assemblywoman Shirley Weber, Democrat, who authored the bill, called it, quote, an aggressive effort to retrain our officers and change the culture of police. I, for one, am all for anything that attempts to change the culture of police. It has become a standing army in this country. If you go back 30, 40, 50 years, police were more of the Mayberry type, and now they looked like they walked off a troop carrier in Fallujah. If there's anything serious that happens now, it involves armored troops who are armed with military-grade weapons. I'm not saying they're driving SWAT vehicles. They have flashbang grenades. They have all this gear, and if you have the gear, you want to use the gear. And it's the militarization of police forces has just ramped up the violence, not against police, but ramped up the violence against citizens.
I noticed at the Trump rally that these guys all had military gear. They were all body armor. They had basically tactical SWAT type stuff. They had what appeared to be like AR-15s. I'm not exactly sure what the rifles were. Didn't ask them. And there was also on top of the Radisson Doubletree in Manchester, there was 2 snipers at least.
Oh, at least.
Just hanging out up there. And there was a couple of spotters. At one time I saw 4 guys up there. And, just everywhere around Manchester, there was cops just ready for straight up combat.
So I don't doubt that Secret Service, they were there in heavy force. Secret Service are actually a little bit harder to detect because they don't usually run around looking like they're armed to the teeth.
I detected one, and I asked him about it, and he got all pissed off.
Exactly. The ones that are all armed to the teeth are New Hampshire's own police forces, right. Manchester Police, right here in Bucolic, New Hampshire. Why are our policemen looking like troops? 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money, quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number. That's the number you call to get on the air and bring up whatever you like. That's the beauty of a actual a talk show that didn't try to make you talk about what we want you to talk about. We want you to talk about what you want to talk about. 855-450-3733 or hit us up on Discord. Discord is a cool app. Just load it on your tablet, on your phone, on your PC, your laptop. check out where to go at discord.lrn.fm. Use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone, and you will sound like you are right here in the studio with us. But first, I wanted to tell you about Freedom's Phoenix. Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation website. Do you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty? freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Check it out. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com, freedomsphoenix.com.
At the top of freedomsphoenix.com, right now it says Matrix 4 officially a go with Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Lana Wachowski. I didn't know there was going to be a Matrix 4. That's awesome.
Ian and I were talking about that just before the show. Yeah, because I pulled up to the studio playing Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine. It was one of the songs in the original Matrix. I'm kind of jazzed about it. I love the first Matrix movie. To me, it was revolutionary. There were ideas that were presented that had a liberty spin on them that we had never been presented with in a super popular film. And a lot of the techniques used in the film were kind of groundbreaking at the time. And then Phoenix, Matrix Revolutions and Matrix Reloaded came out after that. And I found both of the sequels kind of confusing.
The guy that taught me blacksmithing, one of the guys that taught me blacksmithing, actually made a lot of swords for Keanu Reeves' stuntman, whose name is Brent Stitlowski. They're from Munson, Massachusetts, a town just south of me.
Gotcha.
Where I grew up in Palmer. So, but this guy would get suspended from school because when he was in high school, he would crawl down a gutter 4 flights, literally shimmy down the gutter on the outside of the building at the end of school and leave school. And that was always a big thing in town. This guy was just I think he actually got expelled from high school over just crazy stuff like that.
For being an amateur stuntman.
Yeah. But The Matrix woke a lot of people up when I was in high school.
It did.
When that came out.
It did.
A lot of my friends were like, wow, the stuff you've been talking about. I didn't even see the movie, and I kind of knew the line because my buddies were all telling me about it. They went and saw this movie.
Yeah.
And,
you're just a pawn. You're being controlled by the people who are really in control. You go about your daily job. You don't know what's really going on beneath. Do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill? Do you want to stay right where you are, just happy, or do you want to see how far down the rabbit hole goes? Those were a lot of, I thought, innovative ideas to throw out in a movie. It was one of those things that I'd read about. I've read a lot of libertarian novels and stories and things like that, but it was the first time a lot of those things actually made it onto the big screen, which I thought was kind of interesting and kind of innovative. And so I still see Keanu Reeves in a lot of stuff. I mean, John Wick, that was a blockbuster. Angie's shaking her head. You don't remember? You didn't watch John Wick?
No.
I don't think I watched it either, actually.
Yeah, those are probably the most violent possible movies you could ever watch.
I did watch The Matrix, but I did not watch any of the sequels.
Yeah, that was, I think, a good time to quit.
Yeah, I was happy with the first one.
First one, yeah. The second ones were just trying to explain every possible question you could have ever had about The Matrix, and I think they just succeeded in making it more complex. The Wachowskis, as they are now known, it used to be the Wachowski brothers, and first one and then the other transitioned. They're both trans ladies now, and they are just known as the Wachowskis. They're going to be at the helm for this new, I guess you call it a reboot, sequel. I don't know how they're going to play it. They've got a lot of the original. I think the original director is coming back for it. Both Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, who were the co-stars of the first one. The only one I haven't heard about was Lawrence Fishburne. He played Morpheus.
Okay.
And but he had some good lines, some good Liberty lines, at least in the second one.
Ernie Hancock likes to use a lot of Morpheus
stuff
as his
just
bumper music.
Exactly what I was thinking. Freedom's Phoenix, that's Freedom's with an S, Phoenix.com. His bumper music includes a short little speech from Morpheus, and I think that was in Matrix Reloaded. That's where he did that. But
I hear it just about every morning because I have
you're listening.
Declare Your Independence with Ernie Hancock is on LRN.FM feed from 9 to noontime every day, and then it's on after this show. This morning show is on after this show during the week. If you listen on LRN.FM.
Yeah, it's and Ernie's a great guy. I got a chance to talk to him for the first time at Fork Fest. I've listened to him for 5-6 years. He used to be, I told him, he was my morning drive. Every day on the way into work, I had a phone through my employer that had unlimited internet. So, heck yeah, every morning was Declare Your Independence. And just have a lot of respect for him as a broadcaster. And he knows where we should be going.
Oh, yeah.
And
62 miles above the grid. That's his Pirates Without Borders stuff.
855-450-FREE. We've got open phones. I'd love to hear from you. 855-450-3733. So what do you think? You think this new Matrix movie is gonna blow up? Is it gonna fizzle?
I think it will blow up, personally, just because of Keanu Reeves and the hype behind it. I think that it'll do well at the box office. I probably won't go see it. Probably won't see it when it comes out. But, I mean, I'm sure I'll hear about it.
Yep.
I wonder how much CIA money is going to be injected into this, because there's a lot of... Ernie talks about this with there's some movie, I can't remember. I just try and think what it is. And it was basically about like one of these military incidents in the Middle East somewhere. It was a movie that was produced a few years ago, and the CIA stepped in and says, hey, you're not going to put like... And then, and they offered him funding. They basically just offered him funding somehow.
I can't imagine how the CIA would benefit from a...
CIA front company, basically re-scripted part of this movie. I can't remember the movie, but he was talking about it this past week.
What do you think? Is the Matrix going to blow up? Is it going to be all that? I don't know. But I'd love to talk about whatever you're interested in. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
When you're coping with bad news and the news media come calling, and they will, don't clam up. As notorious political figures find out the hard way, the cover-up can be worse than the crime. So get out in front of unfavorable news about your company, your group, or organization, or yourself. The sooner you confront a negative story, the sooner it will be over. Responding as quickly to negative stories as you do to positive ones enhances your credibility. Hiding embarrassing information or lying will do more damage than damage control. Never stonewall. Tell your side of the story, use specifics, and detail what corrective action has already been taken. Respond in kind. If the issue is emotional, don't sound like a cold, unemotional Mr. Spock. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Free Talk Live.
I cannot imagine anyone ever calling a cigarette interdiction hotline.
That'd be great.
What would that conversation be like?
Well, I'm calling because I can't stop smoking.
Sir, do you have a cigarette right now?
Well, yes.
Is it lit?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you have an ashtray?
Yes.
Okay, you know when you're done with your cigarette and you put it out?
Uh-huh.
Okay, try that right now.
But it's not.
Go ahead and do that same motion.
I can you imagine the conversations?
What the hell could they possibly
Is it 24 hours?
I just don't get
Just
it.
someone called him. I can't do it anymore.
It's dumb.
I smoked the whole pack of cigarettes.
I only get motivated at 3 a.m. Help me out. There's nobody there?
I've smoked all my money away, and now my wife's left me, and she took the dog and the kids. I got no money left. I've smoked it all.
I was breaking into my neighbors' houses and pawning their TVs for more cigarettes.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom. Free as in Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. I got a story here because the police have to get involved to keep us safe. That's always what we need the police to do, to keep us safe. We need laws to keep us safe. And have you ever heard of hard seltzer?
Oh, yeah.
What's the big brand out there? Claws. Have you ever seen Claws hard seltzer?
I have not, but I've heard of hard seltzer.
Right. It's the biggest, latest thing in alcoholic beverages. I guess that's the biggest trend going right now. See, I'm really boring. I like really good beers, and that's it. I like good wines, too. I'm not much of a hard liquor drinker.
I'm more of a liquor drinker. Used to be
Gotcha.
coconut rum, but now it's tequila, Patron.
The problem is all the American beer and wine is so loaded with glyphosate because of the Roundup they spray on all the
Don't
wheat.
tell me this.
And all the
Quiet.
wineries and everything's
No.
crazy. Yeah.
Don't ruin my good beers.
I saw a headline, something about the arsenic in a lot of wine that they recall in some.
Possible. I'm not familiar with that story, but police have decided that they have to remind everyone that hard seltzer drinkers, they have to remind them that, quote, laws still do apply.
I want to walk around with seltzer can, drinking seltzer in public, just so they can come harass me about it. They'll be like, "Is that alcoholic?" I'm like, "Oh, can you smell the vodka?"
It would be an open container, though, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I mean, seltzer's a big thing here where the show is being broadcast from Keene, New Hampshire. I'm going to say in New England, seltzer's a bigger thing here than almost anywhere. Like I go to the grocery store and there's a section at least as big as Coke or Pepsi that's selling
Polar
seltzer. I mean, Kansas, it's everywhere. I never really got into it. It tastes like sparkly stuff that doesn't have quite enough flavor.
Well, they're right
because
from
I'm used to
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Is that right? That's where they're from.
Well, it says it on a can. And when I was living in Manchester, I would drive through Worcester 2 or 3 times a week to go. I was working for a guy in Western Mass, and you drive right by this several acres of a big Polar Seltzer, Polar Soda campus. You see hundreds of semi-trailers and all the carbonated, silo tower things. And
correct me if I'm wrong, they have 37 billion different flavors.
Oh, I don't know.
Polar does. Every time it just blows my mind.
But the raspberry comes from the anal gland of a beaver, I believe.
Good to know.
That sounds yummy.
And for those of you who are looking for something that came out of the anal gland of a beaver, Polar raspberry seltzer water is probably better than the alternative.
All raspberry flavor that is, quote, natural flavors is from this like beaver anal gland. Natural flavors can be like one of like any couple thousand ingredients.
They are, and they are pretty disgusting. So, and when you see it on the label, natural flavors,
it must be yummy.
It must be yummy. But then you find out how they arrive at that flavor, and it's not always what you think it is. But the police are going nuts because somebody posted something on social media. Oh my God! It might seem obvious, but a Wisconsin police department felt the need to remind citizens that laws still apply when you're drinking, even if it's White Claw hard seltzer. I'm glad you policemen in Wisconsin felt that it was better to spend your time on this particular campaign than doing something like, I don't know.
Rape kits?
Rape kits, that's a good one.
There's always a few thousand of them.
Maybe you could process your backlog of rape kits. You could close out some missing children. So I'm sure there's a few missing children's cases in Wisconsin.
Well, based on the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff and all this thing going on with the pedophile elite, there's probably an incentive to not really look too hardly at missing children. But cops aren't really there to, to serve and protect the people. They serve and protect the state.
And nor do they have any obligation to protect you. That has been determined by the U.S. Supreme Court numerous times. They have no obligation to keep people safe. In response to a popular social media term, the Kenosha Police Department in Wisconsin took to Facebook to remind citizens about the truth. While some people like to say, quote, ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, unquote, the Kenosha Police Department disagrees. The police department took to Facebook to share a message with their followers, quote, recently we have heard the saying going around, quote, ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, unquote. We are here to remind you that even when you're drinking White Claws, laws still do apply. Remember to drink responsibly and never drink and drive.
I agree
unquote.
I disagree with laws still apply. First off, I don't think there's any laws that say anything about this.
Hard cider.
Yeah. It might be a statute, a code, or a regulation, which are not laws.
Now, states, most states, all states have
just fictions.
some age of consent, age of alcohol consumption.
Sure, which is some statutory thing.
Right.
Doesn't apply to me.
That's fine. But for a lot of people, they do see that, the drinking age is 21, the drinking age is whatever it happens to be, and that's the law they follow because they know what's going to happen if they don't follow that particular law.
Do they really follow that law?
Well, when I was 18, I can say no. When I was 17, I can say no. When I was 16, I can say hell no. I never followed any underage drinking laws. They did not have the desired effect. What they did was they made alcohol seem cool.
Desirable.
Something I can do that only grown-ups can do.
Yep.
I can do that. So what did we do every weekend? Found a way to get alcohol. And that's still what goes down today. Now, countries like Germany, for example, that have much lower regulations when it comes to underage drinking. If you're old enough to see over the bar, you can have a beer. I don't know what Germany is right now, but it's always been more permissive. When it's more permissive, kids find out at a younger age that there's not that much that you're really missing.
My little sister was that just turned 16, and she had went to Germany for a semester of school, foreign exchange deal.
Right.
And she's out in Colorado, and when she came home, like, hey, did you drink any alcohol? She's like, well, she goes, I got like an 8-ounce glass of wine with dinner every night. And when we went out to eat, I asked them if I could order a beer. And they're like, sure. And they brought her a big mug of beer. She says, I couldn't even finish it all. And the other thing, too, is there's no glyphosate in German beer. That stuff's not allowed in Germany, that Roundup.
So according to whatever random website I just pulled up, minors 16 years of age and older may drink undistilled alcoholic beverages such as wine and beer without accompaniment, and once they hit 18, then you can drink liquors, distilled spirits, in Germany. So where is this rampant teenage use of alcohol in Germany?
It isn't rampant. My little sister said it just wasn't a big thing because
it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a big deal.
And there was parties every weekend where, just like where I grew up in Western Mass, there was parties in the woods, keggers in the woods, and somebody always got kegs, and somebody sold cups for $5 a piece, and there was big parties everywhere, all the time.
That's but the thing is, I'm sure kids probably got tired of that. It's like, oh, do I really want to go to another party? I go to this big one because there's supposed to be a band there. But I imagine it's probably not as big a deal as it was in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you prohibit things. You're picking and choosing the vices and trying to influence people. People are going to do what they want. 855, 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's MyPillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's free as in Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. That's the number you can call to get on the air. What are you going to talk about? I don't know. You talk about what you want to talk about. Don't worry about what we're talking about. We're talking about the police in Wisconsin. Just reminding everybody that if you're drinking claws, there are still laws. So don't forget that we have laws in Wisconsin. Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws has been seen on social media. But the Kenosha Police Department felt that they just had to weigh in. They had to bring this up and remind people that there are still laws. Have you ever been so drunk that you forgot that there are this thing called the state, that there are policemen out there that are going to actively look for you, that are likely going to violate your protected rights according to the Constitution? Do you ever forget that they are out there?
I have forgotten that they are out there.
Have you? Tell me about this.
Yeah, well, because you're having a good time, the last thing you think about is some police officer that's going to
buzzkill.
Yeah, I don't do that.
That's a good point.
I'm not afraid of them.
I generally I've always made it the point at like large gatherings and parties, probably with the exception of Pork Fest and Liberty Forum.
Okay.
Not to drink.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the guy that deals with the cops.
Right.
Because I feel like I can send them away the most efficient way possible. And if the spokesman, per se, or the guy who volunteers to go deal with the cops doesn't smell like he's been drinking, that helps.
It throws them off completely.
And then especially, when first thing I tell them is, we each require $50,000 an hour to carry out orders from the police, and we will be filing claims with risk management division of whatever city you're in or state or whatever.
So does this chase them off?
Yeah. I've had them leave several times. I've told them that they need a warrant, that I will be investigating and making sure they have complied with the law and that they have signed sworn oaths of office.
But if you're drunk, if you've been drinking, even if you're not driving, no. If you've been driving, and not you, but anybody, if you've been drinking and a cop comes up to you and he wants to know who you are, you got to show him your license, right?
Well, not if you don't have one.
That opens up a whole new can of worms.
And more to the point, I was being facetious there. Most of the time, most states have laws that do require you to provide proof of identification when you're driving. Some states have requirements for proof of identification when you're walking down the street. Some states do. Some states, and New Hampshire isn't the only state like this, that do not require you to show who you are if you're not operating a motor vehicle. And you should look into the state laws of your state and find out when exactly do I have to show cops identification. When exactly do I have to identify myself to police? And you're going to find out that the answer may not be what you always thought it was. First of all, I advise people know what the law is. You're going to break it, that's fine.
I think you should have evidence whether the law applies. Simply write the state attorney general's office a letter. Actually, write them a public records request. If in New Hampshire, it's called a 93 action. Massachusetts is the 460 action. But a public records request asking them for the evidence that they rely on, that the New Hampshire Code and Constitution apply.
Absolutely. You
and
could
ask
do that
them
too.
to certify if it does not exist. This document does not exist. And what happens is they ignore you.
I don't doubt that they will ignore you.
They absolutely
will
ignore it.
every time. For the average listener on the show, they may not want to go into all that. At least Google what your laws are and then do a little bit more legwork like Jay recommends. Why not? Why not ask them to show you where this law is? And if they can't provide it, that tells you something, doesn't it?
MarkStevens.net. He does a Saturday show that is on LRN every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 7. And Mark Stevens, if you just Google Mark Stevens and plea of guilty, the guy's really good at this kind of stuff. Where's the evidence that the code and Constitution apply to me? Anybody who can get to his website, I feel is competent enough to take an hour and just study this information and walk in any courtroom and do this. Practice it first with your friends. Where's the evidence? Just ask questions. Don't make any statements. Just where's the evidence? I need to have the evidence. If you have the evidence that the code and Constitution apply to me, then I'm willing to plead guilty and save everybody time.
So other than that, what are some other things you can do if you're confronted by the police?
Shut up.
You can shut up. You have the right to remain silent. That's part of the Miranda decision. And you don't have to talk to them. You certainly don't have to say anything that incriminates you. If a cop asks you, well, how much you had to drink? Just like one or two? Don't answer that. Don't answer anything. Don't answer anything. That's the best advice. The police are not your friends. They're not there to make sure your night ends great.
And the more they try to be your buddy, I'm here to help you out. I'm going to help you through this. I've had cops tell me this stuff before.
Oh, sure.
The more they're trying to be your buddy, the harder you're getting screwed. Is basically
your
the bottom
radar
line.
should be going up and up and up. When they tell you this is meant to disarm you. Another thing that the Supreme Court has found, that it is perfectly legal and acceptable, so says the Supreme Court, for police to lie to you.
Yeah.
They absolutely can lie to you. The police know this, and they can, in the pursuit of finding out the truth, their truth about a crime or a crime that may have been committed, can lie to make you say things that you might not have otherwise said to them. So the best advice is know your rights. Don't tell them anything beyond what you're legally required to. And if it's a big deal, let it go to court. Don't just immediately take the plea deal if you can afford not to take the plea deal. Now, the problem is that they offer these plea deals after you've been charged with 19 different counts of whatever it is. They will stack the charges against you. They will make the plea deal so attractive. If I just plead guilty to this one little misdemeanor, I can worry about all these 50 other misdemeanors they charge me with. If I only plead guilty to this one felony, they won't charge me with the other 50 felonies they've charged me with.
I got 2 points of clarification. First, in Massachusetts, the Massachusetts State Police Academy actually trains police officers in lying to suspects to get them to flip on other suspects or to get them to even confess on crimes. They'll separate two guys and be like,
they will.
Your buddy told me that this contraband is yours. And then they tell the other guy, hey, your buddy told you the same exact thing. The second point is you were talking about the last thing you were bringing up there, Chris.
Plea deals.
Plea deals.
Plea deals. When you, and I was just talking with someone on Facebook about this today. When you do a plea deal, you take the plea deal, and what happens is you become a revenue target.
Oh, yeah.
When they know that you will take a plea deal, even if it's just a continuance without a finding, and the fee is waived, you become a target. When you stand against these guys, when you fight them tooth and nail, when you appear in court, like what's happening here in New Hampshire, is there's a cop in Grafton, New Hampshire, who is reported saying, I will not write tickets or pull people over with Montana plates because I know I'm going to court, because there's so many free staters running Montana plates in New Hampshire, and they just don't want the aggravation because it's not low-hanging fruit. Once they realize you're an easy harvest for revenue, you are now a target. And when they run your plate and they see that you've been found guilty, that you've been found responsible, that there was a plea deal, your stuff shows up. It probably gives you a credit rating on, okay, pull this guy over because he's easy to extract from. But everybody knows that a plea deal has literally become a target for life.
It sounds counterintuitive, but don't think that the government doesn't see you as
it's like the schoolyard bully.
Yeah, number one, a way to make money, but if you give them some inclination you're willing to pay a little extra, they're going to take advantage of that. And lots of states and lots of areas have, and the other question is, where does the revenue go? Some goes to the state itself, some stays right in your community. They really like to talk about how that is. We're going to get back into this conversation, but I want to hear what's on your mind. What is interesting you this evening? 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com. There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,507, silver at $17.15, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,767. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, as a growing number of states move to pass laws that would criminalize pipeline protests and hit demonstrators with years in prison, an audio recording obtained by The Intercept showed a representative of a powerful oil and gas lobbying group bragging about the industry's success in crafting anti-protest legislation behind closed doors. Speaking during a conference in Washington, D.C. in June, Derek Morgan, Senior Vice President for Federal and Regulatory Affairs at the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, touted model legislation that states across the nation have passed in recent months. AFPM represents a number of major fossil fuel giants, including Chevron, Koch Industries, and ExxonMobil. The audio recording comes just months after Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into law legislation that would punish anti-pipeline demonstrators with up to 10 years in prison, a move that environmentalists condemned as a flagrant attack on free expression. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced Monday that it launched an investigation into the fast-growing phenomenon of people getting severe lung disease in connection with vaping. According to the CDC, nearly 100 people have contracted serious and often life-threatening lung illnesses that may be linked to their use of illicit e-cigarettes, which heat oils into inhalable aerosols, allowing users to consume nicotine, THC, or CBD in a highly discreet and smoke-free manner. The Mind Unleashed reports the news comes as counterfeit vaping cartridges proliferate across the U.S., with generic packaging and false labels that obscure the fact that they contain a number of mysterious adulterants, including cough syrup, various hydrocarbons, toxic heavy metals such as lead, and dangerous synthetic cannabinoids, a category that includes the lethal drug K2 or spice. Free speech in the patent world saw a big win on Friday, when the New Hampshire Supreme Court held that calling someone a patent troll does not constitute defamation. Activist Post reports the court's opinion is good news for critics of abusive patent litigation and anyone who values robust public debate around patent policy. The opinion represents a loss for Automated Transactions LLC, a patent assertion entity that sued more than a dozen people and trade groups claiming it was defamed. EFF worked together with the ACLU of New Hampshire to file an amicus brief in the case, explaining that the lower court judge got the case right when he ruled against ATL. The decision gave wide latitude for public debate about important policy issues, even when the debate veers into harsh language. Last week's ruling court notes that patent troll is a phrase used to describe a class of patent owners who do not provide end products or services themselves, but who do demand royalties as a price for authorizing the work of others. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Tensions in Washington, D.C. reached a new high yesterday as several dozen members of Congress took a class of visiting school children hostage, barricaded themselves inside the Capitol Rotunda, and demanded $12 trillion in cash. The children were rounded up at gunpoint, whereupon the House Speaker informed negotiators that one child would die every hour unless their demands were met. Here now a brief video one of the students was able to send out from inside the Capitol.
Nobody move, you're all gonna die! This kid's got a phone.
Historians across the country politely reminded Americans this week to quickly check and see what has happened in the past before making any big decisions.
Just take any book with history in it and then quickly skim through it to see what decisions in the past turned out to be bad. And then once you've pinpointed them, simply don't make those same decisions again. Because if a bad thing happened again, you see, that would be very bad indeed, wouldn't it?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 3. 1, 2, 3. We're in our third hour. This Wednesday nights, when I do it with you guys, it just goes too fast. I don't normally do Wednesday nights. I normally do Thursday nights, but every once in a while, I get a chance to pop in and hang out with you guys.
We're glad you're here.
I like to do that. Not that I know you guys miss Mark. Mark's a great host. Heck, he's been around since there was a Free Talk Live, but Mark is in
He's
Korea.
in transit, right?
Yeah,
Yes, he
traveling
is
right now.
Traveling right now. Mark, the regular host on Wednesday nights, is in South Korea. He's been in South Korea. Evidently, like Jay said, he is on his way back. So probably next Wednesday you'll get treated to Mark again. But in the meantime, you got myself, Chris.
And Jay.
And Angie.
And we're here to talk about what you like to talk about. And that can be anything at all. This is an open phones show. You can bring up the topic and you can set the course of this ship and let us know what is interesting to you. But first, we are going to go to the phones where we've got Larry from Indianapolis. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
How you doing now?
I'm good.
You know, I kind of feel like you are a good sample of millenniums, right?
Well, I don't know. Larry, I might be a little old to be a millennial.
Okay, but you know what I mean when I say the young white children, right?
Well,
now,
I don't know how old you are, Jay.
I just turned 40.
63.
Okay, well, I'm close to you. I'm closer to you than I am to these guys. So, but go ahead with your question.
Here's what I'm saying, and I don't know whether it's pervasive or not, but here in Indianapolis, every corner has a brew pub, a whiskey distillery, or some other kind of greasy spoon on every corner now. And the thing about it is, the city is subsidizing these brew pubs and distilleries by buying their equipment, setting up their place to do business, and giving them business loans, right?
They're trying to attract those sorts of businesses.
Is this through an urban development thing?
Yeah, it's through urban development. They're paying for the actual equipment that does the deal. Now, alcoholism is a dangerous disease. Do we agree on that?
I can certainly agree with you on that.
Because my brother died from alcoholism, and I know in the black community about 20, 30 years ago, we were fighting to get the scourge of a liquor store out of every corner in our community.
Right.
Now it looks like it's admissible, and not only is that admissible, but heroin usage is admissible. Over in the park across from the library, they were giving out clean syringes, tourniquets, and swabs to people as if the state has sanctioned heroin. Now,
well, the military has.
But you know, this is awful weird because when the crack was going on, they were forcing it on black communities. They forced the alcohol on black communities. So it looks like some kind of a turnabout as fair play is coming where they are willingly exposing their children to this poison every day. They want them to drink every night. They say if you OD on heroin, we'll come out and spend $6,500 to rescue you so you can call us back in the same night. I mean, it's as if some kind of judgment has taken place or payback for what they've done to the colored people. So just take a look at what's going on. Anytime the state sponsors alcoholism and heroin addiction, and they don't even make a second thought about it. In fact, they call it economic development.
Well,
so
I don't think that's
a
case with heroin.
What's going on.
The reason we have an opioid epidemic, and it's an epidemic, Larry. You see people in the street. You know what's going on. You know that the black communities and white communities have always had a heroin addict. There have always been heroin addicts. The difference is now we have thousands and thousands of kids who would have never become addicts if it weren't for the war on drugs. The war on drugs caused prescriptions first to be written for anybody because, Big Pharma said that, hey, if you've got any kind of pain, Vicodin, that's the safest way to treat it. And guess what? That addicted half the population, it seems like. And then they said, well, we're writing too many prescriptions. No, doctors, you can't write any more prescriptions for Vicodin, which then left these people who you already addicted with no place to get pain relief. So they found an alternative, black tar heroin. So these are problems created because they created the problem in the first place, and they're trying to figure out a way to profit off of it.
They are profiting.
Of course they are. What I would argue is that we would be better off with no laws about heroin. Let people do heroin if they want to do heroin. And guess what, Larry? I'm 55 years old. I never woke up one day and go, it's Wednesday. Wouldn't this be a great day to go try heroin? I've never tried heroin. Have you tried heroin?
No, I have not, but it's legal now because if you get caught with heroin in your system or in your pocket when you OD, it's a Class D felony, or it used to be.
I didn't
now
ask
they
you
shoot
that.
you up with Narcan and let you go.
I have no problem with trying to save somebody's life.
Well, that's a suicide victim.
Would you ever have tried heroin? And like you said,
had the opportunity,
you're advocating it. It's legal. You're telling me it's pretty much legal.
It is legal.
So
it's at gunpoint.
So would you try heroin now?
No, I have no desire to. But
why not?
Larry, because I see the homeless people that are sleeping under bridges that are addicted to heroin every day.
Exactly.
And I got better sense.
Exactly.
But the thing about it is, they are sanctioning alcohol too. That's the gateway to heroin is alcoholism, and they've got these fancy breweries, and they laugh and joke about it. The wine bars back to back. I mean, that's alcoholism. It all happened before, where alcohol and drugs takes all the money.
Well, we've been
Go
talking
ahead.
about booze a lot tonight, and I've drank. I had during my military time. I was in for 4 years. They say that alcohol takes 24 hours to leave your body. You heard that before? I can tell you for at least 3 years, alcohol never left my body.
There you go.
Right.
But see, some people can take it, some can't. But
Exactly,
alcoholism
but
is
I
a
have-
deadly,
I
it's
have
a
that
deadly
choice.
disease. Yeah, but
That's the thing.
When
And-
you're illiterate, you can't make it. And you got somebody saying, come to our event this week. We're going to have a beer garden and a wine garden.
So-
and you can get a cocktail if you want it. That's dangerous.
I'm with you on a couple things. I don't think the city of Indianapolis should be involved in trying to work in the free market. That just
They
makes no
subsidize.
sense. Yeah, and that's wrong. That's taking your money, and you don't approve of that. Why are they spending all this development you see is being paid for with your money?
It is.
So thank you, Larry. That's what we should be angry with. We should be angry with politicians that are getting involved in things they have nothing to do with. They shouldn't have anything to do with.
I'd like to add a little bit to this heroin epidemic. A little information here. You guys know who Silver Dave is. He's on the show on Tuesdays sometimes. And he's been a good friend of mine for a lot of years. And he was, Special Forces in Afghanistan.
Yep.
And there was a report that came out on about 2 years ago that basically opium or production has increased something like 17,000% since the United States took occupation of Afghanistan. And Dave will tell you that they were told not to interrupt with the local economy and not to disrupt the heroin production and heroin flow. And basically the military is literally subsidizing heroin being imported into the United States. Therefore, it is cheaper than about any other street drug out there right now. It's cheaper than cannabis in many places.
It's insane, and this opens up a couple other areas that are definitely worth exploring. If you have a newborn baby, better yet, if you have an 18-year-old son, he has never lived in the United States when we were not at war with Afghanistan. There's something wrong with the cycle of endless warfare and endless welfare. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money, quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Do you wish you could do whatever you wanted in your dating or relationship life instead of being locked into certain relationship or marriage models that don't make you happy? Do you wish you made more money on less hours? You can do both. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses, and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait on the calendar. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That is the number to call to get on the air and talk about what's on your mind. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
Jay.
And Angie.
And I wanted to talk to you about My Magic Mud. What is My Magic Mud, you may ask? My Magic Mud is black tooth powder. That doesn't mean you put it on your black teeth. It means that this stuff is black. It's made from charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. This stuff is clinically proven to whiten your teeth. It is the craziest thing you've ever seen, but it does work. It's available in most health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart in the natural beauty aisle. You can get 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. That's 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. This stuff is amazing. Everybody who tries it comes back and is like, I can't believe I never tried this stuff before. Give it a shot, guys. You'll love it. We have been talking about, our last caller wanted to talk about addiction and talking about, what's happening in Indianapolis with evidently the city providing startup funds for lots of bars. And he's, saying they've got a huge opioid crisis going on down there. As far as opioids go, you need to look at the models that have been tried in Europe, because what we have here doesn't work. You can look at complete legalization of heroin in Switzerland, which is amazing. They have driven new usage almost down to nothing. Nobody just wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I think I'll try heroin today. They might smoke a little weed. They might drink some Swiss beers, and there are good Swiss beers. But nobody really jumps right onto the heroin bandwagon. Unfortunately, in this country, a lot of people got led onto it by pharmaceutical opioids, and that's kind of where it starts. We're going to go to, Washington State, where we've got Mike on the line. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
How are you doing? Can I weigh in on your last caller? He was very inspiring, that gentleman, Larry, that called. I grew up in the same town that Kurt Cobain grew up in, and we have a terrible, terrible problem with heroin and addiction, but we have a worse problem with the county. And I'll tell you what the county did recently. They extended with grant money, of course, the needle exchange program. Right. And what I noticed was they come on our talk show every morning, and they don't realize when they tell people mistruths, there's not only an archive, but some people pay attention to everything they hear, and they lie a lot. Well, what they did, they extended the needle exchange program, and they bought a used motorhome from an unknown source, which I'm going to get to the bottom of it because I know what they did. Everybody's benefiting from this grant money, and the guy that's got an addiction is getting a clean needle so he can keep getting messed up every day of his life and eventually wind up committing suicide or just, it's or overdosing. They should be ashamed of themselves. Yes, they need clean needles, but somebody bought a used motorhome at the county that's unmarked, which means somebody that somebody knew, chances are, just got rid of their old motorhome
right.
and made money off this grant money. And I think it's a shame.
That is a shame. As far as heroin goes,
can I mention the county? Is that allowed?
Oh, I don't care.
Grays Harbor County, Aberdeen, Hoquiam, all those areas down there. And then the cities are like buying property. They took property from a guy that had a homeless problem. He was disabled. He had 100 people living. He couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
They forced him out. They bought the property. Then they put everybody in a mitigation center behind City Hall, 40 Penn. And now they've sold the property. All of a sudden, they've got a buyer for this property on the water. The mayor had been to China, to the port of China, a 25-year-old mayor down there.
Right.
And then now they're got the property like within a week. It's all of a sudden got a buyer. They keep coming on the radio and disclosing their own lies. Now they're buying another piece of property so they can put 100 tent. They're all profit. It's a business.
Yeah, they're running it like a business.
And the homeless guy's still going to be cold. They're not giving a blanket. They're not doing anything for them.
Right.
They're making money for themselves, and it's just terrible. And that's pretty much. Thank you so much. This is a great show. I'm kind of new here, but I really appreciate you guys.
Hey, no problem. So what would you do to address the homeless issue? That's a big deal in Seattle and on the West Coast.
Many major cities, even here in Manchester.
Yep.
I'm not still here.
No, you are still here. I'm just asking you, do you have any ideas how to do? Go ahead.
Well, what I have noticed is I live in a very rural community in the mountains. It's beautiful, but I go to Everett, Washington a lot. And my friend took me the other day to show me some very nice homes. They had Santa cans and very nice high quality tents in their backyard. And they had found people that really wanted to step up in life. And the city's allowed them to we need to take care of our own people. And the county's doing nothing to take care of people.
Does that take government to do that? Like I got 15
No, you can't.
acres.
No, the government will never do it. The government will never do it. That's the whole thing. We have to do it. We have to do it.
And the realtors,
yes.
The realtors, your local realtors association is lobbying to make sure you can't put a tent in your backyard in a sandy can and let somebody stay there, or that your uncle can't camp out in a camper for or you can't have a campground that's year round.
Yeah,
exactly. It's shameful. Anyway, that's all. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for the call. He brings up a lot of good points, and it's one issue. You can start out talking about heroin, but then it becomes about needle exchange, and then it does become about homeless because these problems go in a row. I will say that again, I gotta feel inspired by what the Portuguese and the Swiss are doing. Swiss is the most direct on heroin. They just said, if you're an addict, you can count on us to help you. They do provide needles. They provide a place to shoot. And they distribute, the Swiss government distributes heroin. Guess what? That's pure heroin. So when you go in because you're a heroin addict and you need a shot, it's a known quantity. It's not, this might have fentanyl in it or this might be cut with something else. You know exactly what you're getting. They've come to the conclusion that people who are addicted to opiates that are on heroin need to be it has to be some form of maintenance. If you try to switch them all cold turkey, then you're instantly involved in a 30-day, 90-day, 120-day, 180 days at least of rehab.
Which is total misery for these folks.
Right. If you can get them onto some sort of medically assisted maintenance program while you try to treat the addiction, you're going to eliminate all the crime that will come when that guy runs out of heroin. That's when he breaks into your house. That's when he steals your car stereo. When he doesn't have the means to get what he needs. And I think a lot of us who have never done heroin or never read about it don't understand that concept of need. It's something they have to have. If they don't get it, they get violently ill.
But they made a choice to begin with to try it. But I mean, you make a choice in everything in life. And they made a choice whenever the first time they tried it. It was their choice.
I might disagree with you a little bit.
I think I might too. We're going to talk about that. Does every addict, did it all start with a choice? 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom, free as in Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. Give us a call, let us know what's on your mind, and let's talk. That's the idea behind Free Talk Live. It's radio you control, and there aren't a lot of stations you can call and set the topic, but this happens to be one of them. This is one that you can set the topic, and lately it's been opiates. And Angie, you have taken the position that we shouldn't try to save people's lives. If they're addicts, they became addicts because of a choice. And I'm paraphrasing. That's on them.
But at some point in this journey that they're on, they made that choice. They decided at some point that I'm going to go to heroin. If they had like drugs from a doctor or they couldn't get pills anymore, they decided to choose to take heroin. I'm not saying that, we shouldn't help them try to get clean, but I'm saying that if they are overdosing and they do it multiple times, why are we continuing to save them? And their children, their fathers, their mothers, I get it. Their sisters, their brothers, and their family, and you love them. But what can you do for a person who won't help themselves?
The issue, and this is based on what I've read, and I don't have a great understanding of what opioid withdrawal is like, but the book that I read, and I highly recommend it, it's called Dope Sick. I don't have the name of the author. Dope Sick was the book, and she did a good job of going. she wanted to write about this topic, and she went back to West Virginia and Virginia. And in the current opioid crisis, that's kind of where ground zero was, Appalachia. It started down there, and it also started, oddly enough, in Maine. Maine was like the second ground zero of opioids because there were a lot of people that do a lot of dangerous jobs in Maine. People do dangerous jobs, get injured, and that was the issue. They found a lot of people early on that were being prescribed opioids, and unfortunately, your prescription runs out. And if you've been told, if your doctor's been told that, Vicodin's completely safe, don't worry about taking it, prescribe it to children, that's what they were doing. If your son, if his knee's hurting him because he got hurt in a high school football game, give that kid Vicodin, and don't worry about refills because it's not going to be addictive to him. That kid suddenly finds himself addicted. If he stops taking opioids, he will get physically ill. And I don't mean throwing up just once. He is going to feel like death until he gets it again because he has already hit that point. The problem I think I see with addicts is they are at that point where every time they try to stop, they are going to get dope sick.
And how long does dope sick last?
Days until they get it, or you're going to try to cold turkey yourself off of opioids, and that's pretty hard to go through.
It could last the rest of your life almost, actually. I'd love to, after you guys talk about this a little bit, my aunt is a doctor of psychology. She explained to me pretty much what happens with the dopamine and dopamine receptors in the brain due to opiate use, and afterwards I'd like to...
We're going to get back into this, but first we want to go to someone in West Virginia who wishes to remain anonymous. No name in West Virginia. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, about the whole it's a choice. Actually, I'm a coal miner, and I was injured in the mines. I hurt my back, had some top fall in on me. The doctor prescribed me Oxycontin 40s for about, I'm going to say about 5.5 months. And then all of a sudden, didn't prescribe me anything. I was all better. But no, actually I was not. I was worse than I was when I walked in his office.
Gotcha.
Because I'm addicted to it. And at that time, it was legal for these pharmaceutical companies to pay these doctors to push their product. And I'm not talking here's $5, here's $10. I'm talking here's a cruise, here's a trip to Hawaii, here's a new car, here's whatever you need to push our product. It's 100% safe.
And they were pushing it, that it wasn't just here's what's available, think about prescribing it. It's the more they prescribed, the more perks they got. I don't know how you call that anything other than being a drug dealer at a higher level.
It is. It's legalized drug dealing. And the withdrawal symptoms, they last for up to a month. I've been through the methadone clinics. I've been through the Suboxone clinics. It's all a bunch of hogwash. I mean, it's legalized. You're a legalized buzz is all it is, because you can go to work and function because you don't have to go out and hunt for pills. And I've never turned to heroin. Thank God. I was always afraid of needles, and I never did that.
So when you stopped using the Oxycontin, you just quit. They stopped prescribing it, and you quit cold turkey.
No, I went through series of a month at a time of being sick, and pardon my vulgarity, but of using the bathroom on myself, vomiting on myself, feeling like I've got the flu times 10. I mean, you can't get comfortable. Your legs jerk, your legs ache. And I'm so thankful that there's an actual radio station that'll actually talk about this, because usually it's swept under the rug and people don't care about it. I mean, yes, I'll be an addict till the day I die, regardless of whether I'm using or not. I'm still an addict. That mindset is programmed into you. Your body chemistry changes. And that's what people don't understand. You think it's a choice. It's not. It was a choice for me to take those pills, and it was.
Because you were hurting for other reasons.
Exactly. I thought, hey, this is okay. I'm laid up. I'm in a cast from my waist down. The doctor says it's okay.
Now, did you continue to take those pills once you were out of the cast?
Yeah, I took him up until the day he cut me off, and then I went and found him on the street.
Right.
I mean, because it was either that or lay there and be sick and lose my job. I had to function in society.
And are you on a medical maintenance program now for like something you brought up Suboxone and methadone, or did either of those
I tried
help
all
you?
those. The Suboxone did to an extent.
Okay.
The methadone was just legalized high. That's all it was. And they can say what they want to, but when I tried to leave that methadone clinic, they were like, well, no, we don't need to wean you off. You need to stay here for a couple. Here, let's try 1 milligram going down. And at the time, I was on 120 milligrams of that stuff. It took me forever to get out of there.
I got a
So finally,
suggestion
I
for
seen
you. I got a suggestion for you. Ibogaine.com.
I'm not on nothing now.
No, but
I'm clean and sober. It took my wife threatening to leave me and take my kids.
Ibogaine, the Ibogaine clinic is in Mexico. I got a friend who actually works for it. His sister was hooked on heroin, and what Ibogaine does is it resets your dopamine in your brain. Basically, resets your dopamine receptors back to literally the day you were born. It actually clears up a lot of other different things, but it's been tremendous for helping people kick opiate addiction. Now, it does cost several $1,000s to go do one of these clinics, and Ibogaine is an element that's like mined from soil in South America.
Now, what's interesting is I've read about in books about heroin addiction, Ibogaine gets brought up, but why is it in Mexico? Because it's illegal to prescribe and use in the United States. Ibogaine.
The reason why it's illegal in the United States is because the lobbyists are your pharmaceutical reps that pay the senators to tell them, no, don't let people get clean. Don't let them get sober, because that's one less dollar that we can make. And that's all it boils down to.
And junkies don't pay attention to politicians. Addicted people don't pay attention to politicians. Loved ones of addicted people don't pay attention to politicians.
Or you're doing what? You're thinking about how I'm going to get high and happy the next time.
Exactly. I would have robbed and killed anybody when I was sick, and it didn't matter who it was. And normally I work 9 to 5.
We're glad you're clean.
I've been clean now for 3.5 years. It'll be 3 years, 7 months on the 9th of September.
Congrats, and thanks for the
Thanks
call.
for the call.
Thank you.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've had an interesting evening. We've talked about everything from cities providing bars, from it's just been all over the board. We've recently been talking about addiction, and particularly opioid addiction, which kind of has lit the phones up. If you're interested in being on the air and you want to talk about this stuff, try giving us a call, 855-450-FREE. And we've got a number of calls on this topic now. We kind of started off with the point, it's the question is, do people choose to become addicts, or is it something out of their control? That's really the root question that Angie asked. And do heroin addicts choose to become heroin addicts? Do pill addicts choose to become pill addicts? Or is it something that someone else has helped with, like you've heard?
Like a doctor.
Doctors do certainly play their role in all this stuff too. We're going to go to the phones again to West Virginia, where we have an anonymous, he says, psychiatrist on the line. Anonymous, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
I was actually just listening to your caller beforehand on my drive home, and he does make a valid point. There have been a lot of problems here in West Virginia and other areas because the way initially a lot of these drugs were marketed were, hey, these are great alternatives for long-term pain.
Right.
Unfortunately, one of the things we have learned is that, yes, these medications can be useful appropriately in short term for pain or for other issues, even anxiolytics. However, the problem is these medications do become very, very addicting. And none of these people want to start off as saying, hey, I want to be a drug addict. But the problem is you get that flip over where people who benefit from these medications, and then they do become hooked.
Yeah.
And then you move to that point where it's not that, oh, I need these medicines to feel good. It flips over to the point where I want these medicines to not feel sick, to not feel bad, to not go through
Right.
withdrawal.
Right. That's
And then
the
it
point
becomes
of dope
an
sick.
escalating point.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And
Now, I have seen a lot of people who they will go and get sober. And yeah, after you get through withdrawal, because usually those first 72, 96 hours, those are the worst, absolutely the worst. But then after that, it's not so much the physiologic dependence. It does become the neurologic, that, as you said, the brain chemistry. Whenever you're looking at that mesolimbic pathway, that's when it becomes more of the truly the neurologic as opposed to the physiologic.
Yep. Hey, Anonymous, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. We're going to stay in West Virginia, where we have Jane calling in from Charleston. Wants to talk about addiction. Jane, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, am I on?
You are on.
All right. Well, this is to address a question that you asked about how can family members help someone who does not want to change.
Okay.
And it's a book called Beyond Addiction, and it's how to help people with science and kindness.
Okay.
And so the family members actually are some of the best people that can help people who seemingly don't want to change make a change.
And that's got to be really hard to have. Do you have a personal experience with addiction or see it in your community?
I've worked with it as a therapist, and I teach the craft class,
Gotcha.
which is community reinforcement and family training.
Jane, do you know who that book is written by?
Just one second. What it
As we all
teaches while I'm
Google it.
looking for that
Yeah.
is it teaches the person, the family member, about motivation, what motivates, how to motivate, and what does not work in motivation. Teaches the family member how to do self-care. Let's see, it's Jeffrey Moore.
Thank
PhD.
you.
Thank you. I have no doubt, and I used to live in Maryland and I lived in Pennsylvania. I used to live about 5 miles from the West Virginia border, and I was gone before I left. But they talk about the epidemic spreading up and down I-81, and they used to refer to Hagerstown, Maryland, as Honeytown while they were bringing through the heroin for the Northeast. They could always count on stopping in Hagerstown and selling a whole bunch at a high profit, because we did have a lot of industry and a lot of serious injuries from guys that were working in warehouses or in automotive plants. and
Roofers, framers, contractors,
coal
Yes.
miners, yes.
commercial fishermen.
And I guess that and addiction, you can't just I can't put a label on it and say this is what causes it, but I can say that this most recent epidemic, I thoroughly put on the medical community and on the drug companies. I just do. I can't sit here and listen to person after person tell me they've been prescribed Vicodin or some other opioid longer than was necessary.
Have you checked out the New Yorker article on the Sackler family?
No, I haven't.
They made $12 million.
Oh, yes, I know who
Or
you're
$12
talking
billion and gave our country an $81 billion price tag in legal fees, wages lost, and medical costs and addiction.
about. And this is Purdue Pharmaceutical, correct?
Yes.
That family, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have been sued successfully by a number of states for damages because of the misleading. And that's the thing, it's misleading marketing, telling doctors that it's absolutely safe. You can prescribe this to a person for 3-4 months with no concern about them becoming addicted. That's criminal.
Yeah.
It really is.
Especially when they do it to young kids. I know a kid, he's like a third cousin to me, and at 14, he was put on Suboxone because he got basically addicted to Vicodin over a soccer injury when he was like 9. And he was like violently sick, going crazy when they took him off
thanks for the call.
Vicodin.
Yeah, and there's so many stories like this, and there are also stories. And what this lady argues is that, okay, it became addicts because it started with people on pain meds, but then it became the party drug of choice.
Now, there are losers out there, natural-born losers, these people who are just drug addicts and mess-ups. There's no one-size-fits-all for any of this drug addiction stuff.
I get that, but you can look at a point in time when it escalated, when it became used by the users who were being overprescribed, and then suddenly Vicodin becomes something that was being passed around at parties. And then you get users that had no pain issues suddenly finding them, damn, I really would like to have another one of those pills. I haven't had one in a couple days. I'm feeling like I should have one. And then those people are getting addicted from casual use. It's just, it's crazy and insane. And my heart goes out to people that have to deal with it.
Well, anyways, I mean, this is just what happens when a government's in control. When government controls pharmaceutical industries, when government regulates markets, when the military subsidizes the harvesting or the cultivation, the harvesting, and the transportation. So was there a big military base where all that heroin was coming from on I-81 that was getting distributed all over the country, you think?
No.
I'm not sure.
It was coming from, let me think. It would have been pre-Afghanistan. But, it was, and it was the same drug gangs. Back then, we had the drug gangs. And if you want to know why drug gangs are powerful, it's because of government. You want to make this stuff illegal and crack down on it. That just makes them more powerful. Their prices will go up. It's more profit for them.
If you legalize all the prohibited substances or just totally, regulate them like they are tomatoes, like Daryl Perry used to say in his presidential campaign, it will put the gangs out of business. They will be done.
And you've got to take, and I agree with this aspect of what you're saying, you've got to take personal responsibility. If you're being overprescribed medications, and if you know it, you should, every time you go to your doctor, you should be wary, because our medical community has shown its irresponsibility in addressing the opioid crisis. That's all we got for tonight, folks. I appreciate you listening. And tune in again tomorrow for more fun.
Taxation is theft.
8:55. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,507, silver at $17.15, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,767. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, as a growing number of states move to pass laws that would criminalize pipeline protests and hit demonstrators with years in prison, an audio recording obtained by The Intercept showed a representative of a powerful oil and gas lobbying group bragging about the industry's success in crafting anti-protest legislation behind closed doors. Speaking during a conference in Washington, D.C. in June, Derek Morgan, Senior Vice President for Federal and Regulatory Affairs at the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, touted model legislation that states across the nation have passed in recent months. AFPM represents a number of major fossil fuel giants, including Chevron, Koch Industries, and ExxonMobil. The audio recording comes just months after Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into law legislation that would punish anti-pipeline demonstrators with up to 10 years in prison, a move that environmentalists condemned as a flagrant attack on free expression. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced Monday that it launched an investigation into the fast-growing phenomenon of people getting severe lung disease in connection with vaping. According to the CDC, nearly 100 people have contracted serious and often life-threatening lung illnesses that may be linked to their use of illicit e-cigarettes, which heat oils into inhalable aerosols, allowing users to consume nicotine, THC, or CBD in a highly discreet and smoke-free manner. The Mind Unleashed reports the news comes as counterfeit vaping cartridges proliferate across the U.S., with generic packaging and false labels that obscure the fact that they contain a number of mysterious adulterants, including cough syrup, various hydrocarbons, toxic heavy metals such as lead, and dangerous synthetic cannabinoids, a category that includes the lethal drug K2 or spice. Free speech in the patent world saw a big win on Friday, when the New Hampshire Supreme Court held that calling someone a patent troll does not constitute defamation. Activist Post reports the court's opinion is good news for critics of abusive patent litigation and anyone who values robust public debate around patent policy. The opinion represents a loss for Automated Transactions LLC, a patent assertion entity that sued more than a dozen people and trade groups claiming it was defamed. EFF worked together with the ACLU of New Hampshire to file an amicus brief in the case, explaining that the lower court judge got the case right when he ruled against ATL. The decision gave wide latitude for public debate about important policy issues, even when the debate veers into harsh language. Last week's ruling court notes that patent troll is a phrase used to describe a class of patent owners who do not provide end products or services themselves, but who do demand royalties as a price for authorizing the work of others. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Sony released this week the Nasal HD 340s, a brand new pair of high-quality nose buds designed to let users blast different scents into their nostrils throughout the day. The Onion let consumers across the nation sound off about their excitement for the new product.
I've always got them in my nose. At work, at the gym, on the bus, wherever. These days, I can't stop smelling tennis ball.
Retailing for $49.99, the nose buds accompany the launch of Sony's new online odor store, which sells over 22,000 different smells for download and immediate inhalation. Still, not everyone is quite as enthusiastic about the new product.
These things suck. I mean, a lot of times it only works out of the right nostril. The other day I tried smelling picnic table. It smelled more like hardwood floor. And also, to be honest, I have a really hard time breathing with these things on.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yep. Welcome to Declare Your Independence. Me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the VEA beautiful studios of freedomphoenix.com. Yep, try and wake myself up. That's how you do it. Okay, what we're going to do is today we have on Stephan Kinsella. Stephan Kinsella, KinsellaLaw.com. He's his big deal is intellectual property. And it was just fortuitous that we happened to have him scheduled today, while a couple of days ago we were doing a lot of research on reputation as a letter. It's very important. How do you know who you're dealing with? How you don't have a system. Oh my goodness, did any of you remember before computers? Before you went and checked somebody's Facebook account, or you went and did a search on somebody before you dated them. Do you remember? You remember those days back in the day? You remember when you member club? That was something to remember. Remember that? Well, maybe not. This was in the member club. You had people that would vouch for you, that knew you, that references. Did you bring your letter of introduction? I mean, there was all kinds of ways that this was done. And it was always, usually when you went cross-country or something like that, you get a letter of introduction to certain people from people that they knew. Yeah, this person's like he can dig a ditch, give him what for. So there's always something to do with reputation. And then digitally, you can pretty much make up any reputation you want about anybody and have all kinds of sources, and ask Snopes. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and really get a good beat on this in the second hour. Davi Barker leaves tomorrow, and today we have to finish the reputation letter of Captain Mark, and we're not even sure who's going to write this. It might even be from Reprise. We're going to do the reputation letter. We did a lot of research. And what was interesting is we're talking about pirateswithoutborders.com. And we have a dozen letters. It's the first letter, Captain Mark, second, third, fourth, and so on. And we talk about pirate currency, pirate money, cryptocurrency. What's the traits of it? What's it got to be? To be pirate money, it's got to do what? You know, it's got to be anonymous. That's one thing. But the pirate communications, hailing frequencies invisible to the Crown. You know, I don't even want them to know that I was even yakking with somebody, much less what was said. So then you have first contact protocol. You know, this is like the artificial intelligence, robotics, automatons, androids. You know, at what point do they get legitimate claim to freedom? You know, when they go, no, I don't think I want to do that for you. You kind of suck. And you go, hey, you're my property, am I? What if I say I'm not? Then what? What are you going to do about it? So that kind of conversation happened. Then we have intellectual property. You know, it's called pattern monopoly. You know, do you get to control what I do, even with my property? Let's say I want to make a statue of David out of my wood. You go, nah, you know, that's kind of infringing a little bit. You're not allowed to do that. So, you know, these kind of issues get discussed. Then we had reprisal. She would do the self-defense letter, you know, from a female perspective. Then you had justice, anti-war. We did Dr. Idris Barber on open ocean medicine. You know, what would it be like without the limitations? What if you were a doctor and you said, no, I'm out of here. I want to go practice medicine where I can practice medicine. And then we were thinking, God, do we do teachers? Well, we have the first letter of Captain Kidd done. That is, you know, from a child. How do you have a 12-year-old pirate captain? How'd you finagle that one, Ernie? So Dobby and I worked on that a great deal, and it really came together. We always go in nervous. You know, it's like, God, man, how are we going to, and it really came out well. Yeah. You know, there was an old Somali proverb or pirate proverb or something that said something like, if the village abandons a child, they'll return to burn it down to benefit from its warmth, or something like that. Is basically, you go, you know, ignoring and jerking around with children, they grow up and there'll be a problem. You know, so this is basically the gist of that. But there's so many of these letters, we've gotten to the point that I think that after this one, we have one more that's kind of burning in us that we want to do. And it would be a letter to the privateers. Now, this letter from Captain Kidd is to the Crown, where you have the other guys, the Crown always does this, and the Crown does that, and the Crown sucks, and we're out here being invisible to the Crown. We just soon ignore them, and we're not going to try and fix their crap, and you guys want... Yeah, that's on you landlubbers. You over there, you got problems, but we're out in the ocean and space, and bite me. You know, so we don't care. But the children... You know, that escape that. They may have siblings. They have families they want to be reunited with or free. You know, they may have, you know, so that's kind of where our story goes. So this letter is to the Crown, not about the Crown. It's to him. He goes, you scumbag. You know, such has been the sufferances of these colonies, and therefore we must, you know, declare to candid world there are reasons for our separation and why we're going to come back and rescue our siblings and whip your ass or whatever. So this is a letter to the Crown from a child that suffered the slings and arrows of. So this is it's power. We read it yesterday, I think, on the show. So I'm really happy with it. You know, a couple of edits here and there, but instead of the invisible hand in the market, it has the invisible hook. You know, Peter Pan, Lost Boys, Captain Hook. Yeah, you feel me? So we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to button that up today, and we'll start putting that in. But we got to wait till we finish the next one today on reputation, because then we got to, you know, squeeze it into the book and where and which order and all that kind of stuff. So because we got to transmit the finished book to Amazon for the publishing of it. And so I'm really happy about the we came across research problems. When you start looking for this, you go, God, there's no like freedom-oriented, anarchist, libertarian guys. Nobody's written anything about, Reputation. It's like, sure as hell Murray Rothbard did. I just remember stuff. So we started, nope, it's not, you go Google, you go to the search engine, no, not so much, and then we finally came across one, and he did that. Davi said it was Stephan Kinsella talking about Murray Rothbard's writings on Reputation. So I'm like, well, go to Mises. I bet you Mises got a bunch of, boom, there you went. So then once you found a good one, then it started, dovetailing in the whole bunch of other stuff. But it has been of late, as we do a lot of research or I look for stuff, I used to have the confidence that whatever question you had, it was answered. Somebody was thinking about it. Somebody thought, made a reference to some other something. Not anymore. The search engines, it's not the same. It's like they're taking crap out of the encyclopedia or something. This is serious. Anyway, we'll share more with you. Crimes of the